I'm with Toni Lorene. Team,
Hello.
hey, Team Snoop. The Voice, season 28. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
So, first off, I've got to ask Houston, hometown,
hmm
LA based.
Yes.
I'm a Houston Texans fan. I've never asked this question. What was it like in Houston? And now that you're in LA, how would you compare the two in general without throwing shots at one or the other? I guess.
You know what? That's going to be pretty tough to not throw shots at LA, to be honest.
Okay, I'm cool. I'm cool with that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a Houston girl through and through. I love my city. I love Houston. You can't take it away from me. I think that, maybe LA has nice weather, maybe it's a little cooler, not as humid, but it's actually pretty dry in LA. In LA, personally, I feel, my skin gets really dry whenever I'm in LA versus in Houston. I think the food is honestly just a bit better in Houston, It's just a different city. People are so nice in Houston. They got that Southern hospitality thing that is not always a thing in LA without being a little too hard on them.
I
It's
thought
just
people in
different.
LA are really genuine, aren't they, Tony? So, all that said, with your journey on The Voice, did fellow artists come up to you and ask, "Please, Tony, take me out on the town?" And you're saying, "Well, I would love to. You're my friend, but I also have to do stuff for The Voice and my own thing." How were you? Were you generous with your time and your advice to people who have no idea where we live?
You know, it's a tough thing. In LA, I think that my focus kind of is more work. And I think in LA, people generally pretty much understand that. That's one thing I don't mind about the city. Definitely, I try to be generous with my time, but when you're working and you're doing what you got to do, then people will understand. Eventually, my time will free up, and then you know people
Speaking of
will. Oh, let me
Oh
let
no,
you.
go ahead. Oh no, speaking of time, your time on the battles was great because it felt like more of a friendly, wonderful, loving collaboration. And I saw on IG, I think you were in a vehicle and you're picking Sadie up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's really cool. Can you just describe that relationship and then working with each other, with each other as artists? That was really cool.
Listen, I love me some Sadie Doll. Listen, I love Sadie. I think that she is wonderful and talented. I think that once we first got on our teams, something that Snoop really tried to instill in us is just this family aspect of things, and that we really all are a family, knowing that the battle round was coming up next. And it's not a competition. There is room for all of us. Throughout that whole process, me and Sadie both kept telling ourselves, telling everyone else, telling production, we're not going home, okay? We are not going home. After this round is over, you can expect to still see our faces because we're not leaving. And that's exactly what happened. I had so much fun working on that round and on that song with Sadie because I think that we both equally kind of pushed each other to do a little more because we're both pretty strong, solid singers on our team. And, when we first got into that battle, we didn't know each other very well. We were kind of just meeting. So we really didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. But once we began to learn each other, it started to all flow and just it all worked out at the end of it. Plus, with Lizzo's help with that fire intro in the battle song, I think that we really worked really hard to build something that I think the world was going to love to hear and something that was going to make it so that we did not have to go home. And now we are friends. In the little snippet of the video that you may have seen on Instagram, I think at the very end, Sadie's like, yeah, now we don't have to be competitors anymore.
Yes, yes.
And it's like, yes, yes, finally. But we knew we were gonna be there together, so we didn't even have to worry about, having to actually battle each other. We just needed to put on a great show for the audience.
Speaking of Lizzo, I think it took a lot of guts to even perform "Cause I Love You" in the Blinds. Just a
Ah,
great, iconic song. That's one
mhm.
thing, and you killed it. Talk about that. That's awesome. But then you're actually looking her straight in the face and saying, and she's complimenting you. What's that like to actually? That's a two-pronged awesomeness, I think, kind of situation. So, what was that like?
Oh, that was amazing. First off, I would have never expected Lizzo to be in that room when they opened those doors. And it was such a great feeling to be able to connect with her, knowing that Lizzo and I are from the same hometown, not just Houston, because Houston is huge, but we're from like the same neighborhood in Houston. We went to high schools in the same school district. We were really connected, and that is something that I knew going into singing that song and choosing that song. I just felt like Lizzo's energy was perfect for a blind audition, something that would really get those chairs turning. The energy, the coolness, the vibe of like, the little sing rappy part, but also gave me the opportunity to show off my range and really be a big singer, just like Lizzo. I don't think that people understand exactly how musically inclined Lizzo is, but she is pretty much great at everything. She is an all-around artist, musician, and getting to sit in front of her knowing that I sang her song, giving me props was just like, wow, I never would have thought years ago that I would have been here in this moment. And now it feels like we might as well be friends. Me and Lizzo, we're from the same hood. We can be best friends if you want. I sang your song, I did it justice. It got me my chair turns, and now I'm here sitting in front of you. It was a wild, wild experience. Honestly, I'd love to do it again, Lizzo, anytime.
Amazing, Tony. You actually pretty much bonded with millions of viewers. The moment you mentioned Cocomelon in your package, that must have been great. All that said, so that means you know the spirit of collaboration.
Mhm.
Okay. What was that like, that collaboration like with The Voice, knowing that you've done this before within the industry and you know what it's like to work with different people, whether it's fellow artists, but
Mhm.
also different musicians along the way and coaches?
I I've been doing this thing for a long time, even like back to high school, middle school, even younger. Theater had always been my big thing. So that theater is it's nothing but collaboration. In order to have a good show, you have to work with others and work with others well. And going into Cocomelon, I started working on Cocomelon in about 2020 during the pandemic. And it's funny, I actually recorded all of Cocomelon or most of Cocomelon from my home studio in my closet. So I wasn't always working with others on Cocomelon necessarily, but bridging those two worlds was like, yeah, this is actually exactly where I'm supposed to be. Even though I'm a voice actor on Cocomelon, I'm singing. I'm doing nothing but singing on Cocomelon. When you're a voice actor, that music, you really have to focus on singing with a specific tone that's geared towards children, getting really clean edits and clean takes. And coming onto The Voice, it's kind of like my one opportunity to really show my true voice, my true self, all of that personality that I have inside. That's not just for kids, I can show other emotions when I'm on The Voice. But it honestly, I think Coco Melon really helped prepare me for this moment because it helped me understand, you have a certain audience that you want to entertain and a certain audience that you're speaking to when you're doing this. And all you have to do is give that audience what they may desire. And lucky for me on The Voice, it's me. I just get to give them Toni. And on Cocomelon, I'm also Toni. I'm also a version of myself, but it's the most true and genuine form of that. And I'm not speaking to children, but America, all of America. So
Tony, I apologize. I did not go on Spotify, check to see if you're an artist there with EPs or singles. Am I missing something and
I
whatnot?
am I am not. I am not. Over the years in LA, I've been in LA for almost 7 years. Over the time, most of my artistry has gone into acting, TV film, voice acting, and theater. And being on The Voice, it actually came from me singing in a band on a cruise ship for 6 months in the middle of the ocean. That's actually how the process started. And my creativity had been used in other ways, but after I think it started on the cruise ship for me, being on the cruise ship, getting to sing all genres of music to adults, not children, that really started me truly expressing my own voice. And then being on The Voice, it kind of started to push me in the direction of feeling like, okay, yeah, like people actually do want to just hear my voice. Because over the years, like being coming from a theater background, I was so used to singing in musical theater, but still playing a role and not being my true self. I didn't think that, people would want to necessarily hear my voice for what it was on its own. But now that I have this different kind of platform and I've been a little successful in it, it's started the gears working, and now like maybe in the next few months to a year, you should be seeing some EPs and working on music that is just me. So it's coming.
Okay, well that's great because just from these two rounds, I've seen just the diversity in your voice, and I've been actually trolling through all the comments with all these nice things of people saying, "Oh, she really killed that song. She's amazing," and all that stuff. And what's it been like going through the comments? And I'm surprised that you didn't realize that just your singular voice would be so. That must mean a lot to you just personally now to know
Yeah.
that. And then it's a credit to you that you can do so many other things as well. So it's sort of a weird kind of balance, I guess.
It absolutely is. It's funny because my parents talk to me now and they are also in the comments and looking at what people are saying, and they're like, "See, we tried to tell you, you didn't think that you were going to be good. You didn't think that people wanted to hear your voice in that way, but look at how the world is receiving you." And honest, it's just I feel so very grateful. I feel like the work and effort that I've put in over the years that I've applied to other areas of, my art and my craft, I think they're really starting to show, and it's giving me lots of validation in this thing that I've been doing now. I just feel like, you know, I I was doing myself a disservice a little bit by not pursuing my own artistry in that way before. But I think partially being in LA and pursuing the actor thing and doing all that got in the way a little bit. Because, being an actor, honestly, any creative facet in the industry, it comes with a lot of no's, before you get that one big yes. And I think I was a little scared to just go all in because I didn't want to take too many no's, my pride was, it gets affected by that sometimes, and it hit my confidence pretty hard. And I felt, confident as an actor because it was a thing that I had been doing, confident on the stage, confident performing, but my own music was something that was still a little difficult for me to truly just fall into and receive myself as the artist that I could be. But now being on the show, it's like, okay, I guess people like it. So let me continue to do it.
That's great. Final question is you were mentioning it could be a disservice, but in many ways it could be a service. We started with the interview talking about Sadie. It seems like you like to, and I'm guessing on this, you like to celebrate others before you celebrate yourself. And I
Yeah.
think that can be a great service to what you do as an artist. So is that kind of cool now that you're celebrating other people and other people you work with, but it's great. It's kind of also cool to celebrate yourself finally through this journey on The Voice, I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's nice. I feel good. I feel I feel like, all my years of hard work it's finally paying off in a huge way. Being in a show, being in a musical, something much smaller than The Voice that a lot less people get to actually see. That's always nice, but getting a response from America is insane, and I feel like, wow, like I finally belong in this world that I'm in, and what I'm doing is something that's going to bring other people joy, something that's going to inspire other people, and that makes me very proud of myself. I love that, maybe little girls or kids or any a full grown adult, anyone could see my process and my journey to where I am now and think, hey, maybe I should go after that thing. And that just really truly fills my heart because that is a big part of why I do any of this in the first place.
Tony, again, thank you so much for your time. Continued success on The Voice, and yeah, and also in your music career, and I hope your acting career as well. I really enjoyed speaking with you, and you really killed it on these rounds.
Thank you
So,
so much. Thank you. You
pleasure.
guys
Take care.
stay tuned for more.
Stay tuned for more, and thank you for keeping it real about Los Angeles.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's, it's not Houston. It's not the same. It's not the same.
yeah. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care.